Boop, boop. Hello, everybody. This is Frank at Iron Age News in the South Florida Conservative News Center, Saturday, August 2nd, 9:30 in the morning. It's a beautiful 9,000-degree day here. Hope it's nice where you are. And we're going to talk about some issues when it comes to the American citizens, their access to public utilities, and how AI intends to destroy all of that. So, those of you know there's an AI revolution occurring. If you see all the things that are out there that you can now find out about your penis and about supernatural things, and of course, whatever else you want to learn, the issue that is number one, first and foremost, is not the licensing agreements, not the per monthly costs. It's where is all the electric going to come from? Because the United States has been in almost a failed state position for a number of decades now, not just the first day or two of this. And our infrastructure is woefully inadequate for what is necessary for you to have AI on demand all the time, every way you want it. So let's take a couple of looks at some things here as soon as the thing comes back on, because that's how shit works here. And go through it. I knew this infrastructure issue because if you've done anything with survivability of your infrastructure regarding, terrorism and things of that nature, then you were already like, wow, we're in some issues here if we are going to suck up all this juice, as we say. So, okay, let's get back on where we need to be. Okay, it's not a science fiction issue. It is a looming collision between runaway data demand, structural energy scarcity, the role of a utility and a utility monopoly, what it should have been and what it is. Okay. And just keep this in the back of your mind as we go through this, because I didn't really spend a lot of time on it. When you have an electric company that you deal with, very quickly, they're given a monopoly by either the city, county, state, whoever it is. Somebody gives them a monopoly, meaning that I can't run my own electric company next to them and sell cheaper electric. That was done for the reason to supply the best price and the best service to all the citizens. And really, it meant to supply it to manufacturing, but the citizens got involved in there too. That's gone away, 40 years ago. The utilities are now running themselves as they will. They charge what they want. They deliver ho-hum service and a lot of considerations. You'll find there are companies that own multiple utilities in multiple states, which have also stripped out assets in certain areas, making some utilities worse than others instead of better. So keep that in your mind as this goes along. The United States government has failed to enforce pretty much everything to do with electrical utility, water utility, as well, as you remember from Flint, Michigan being poisoned. People should have been in there on that as well. Okay, so we'll just leave that in the back of your mind and we'll go with this for some facts. In 2023, 2 years ago, US data centers consumed roughly 176 terawatt hours of electricity. That's about 4% of all US usage. I'm just reading this so you know where we're coming from. By 2030, 5 years from now, that number is expected to triple, hitting as much as 500 terawatt hours annually. That's more than all the homes used in California, Texas, and New York combined. And it's not just more power, it's constant power. These things that operate the AI systems are constantly on. It's not passively on like your clock radio. It is on like your television. Or more importantly, if your heater or whatever you're using, stove gets stuck on, it is on. All right. So AI training, model development, and inference operations are 24/7. Okay. These aren't what they call burst loads. They are, however, grid dominating workloads. So here's the kicker. Even if you removed all citizen consumers from the grid, turned off every home, every refrigerator, every AC, every PlayStation 5, we would still come up short for what AI alone would require. So when guys are telling you this, like if you're watching stocks or something, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do this with these big numbers, In a perfect world, they could do that. But as I just told you, if we took everything else and put it to the side, we are still coming up short for what AI alone would require. So now some people, you may think, well, can't we just build more power? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, we can, but we cannot do it fast enough. The US is on track to add about 82 gigawatts. The other was terawatts. This is gigawatts of new net generation properties by 2030. Sounds impressive, except that AI and data centers alone may demand 120 gigawatts. So you're still, again, at your 50% shortfall, right? Almost. And then it gets worse because if we're not just behind on the generation, we're decades behind on transmission. The US needs roughly 200,000 miles of new high voltage power lines to move electricity from where it's made to where it's needed. Uh, you know how many we're building right now? I guess we could just say it this way. You know how many we're building right now? About 1,800 miles. So do the math on that. We are in trouble. We're talking 200,000 versus 1,800. So what happens when demand outpaces the supply? It's going to be simple. The power is going to get rationed off. I'm saying rationed. What country am I in? Rationed off. And who gets it first? It's not going to be you. It's not going to be your neighbor. It's not going to be your kid's school. It's going to go to the highest bidder. And in that case, that's going to be big tech. The same companies training 500 billion parameter models are cutting deals with utilities, sometimes even paying to build new substations and power lines just for themselves, which I have no problem with because if they're building their own, well, I'm sorry, I do have a problem with that. If they were building their own generation places, I wouldn't have a problem with it. This is moving power off the standard grid to a location that they want themselves. That I have a problem with because it doesn't do anything to affect the generation. Sorry about that, correcting myself. Meanwhile, the average consumer, mom, pa, kettle, they face higher rates, possibly brownouts under a different name, and a quiet erosion of what used to be called a public utility. The original ideal was simple. Company, I already said this, I'll say it again. Companies got a monopoly in exchange for cheap, reliable power to the public. That deal has been going for a long time, and it's breaking more, and it's breaking fast. Okay, but in every crisis, there's going to be some opportunity. Smart capital is already moving, not into the utilities, but around them. Companies are deploying various new style surface-based AI and crypto modules powered by modern nuclear power, or hoping to be powered by modular nuclear power, natural gas, things like that. These platforms can operate, off the grid on private land and scale up in under 12 months, far faster than what you're seeing at any regulated utility. So what they are doing, which is actually more palatable to me, is they're building what I would call a shadow infrastructure, a secondary energy network that has no real impact on the public and is designed to serve the next digital economy. Okay, so there are regions of the country that you're going to see this in, and more so than others. One of the other things that I guess we didn't really talk about and we should talk about is when you're talking about the delivery systems, the generation systems, and things of that nature, one of the ideal locations for that, and this is nationwide, is going to be the large older cities, the Chicagos, the Detroits, the New Yorks, all that kind of stuff, because your service area, if you had to restring all the lines, it's a much shorter distance where it would have to go from the generation points, which are in existence already and could be expanded upon, to where the servers are located, which should be in a major city. The reason they aren't in major cities, there's a couple of reasons. One, the megalomaniacs that run these big tech companies like to have their own little fiefdoms all the time, which is probably more telling than anything else. There's less tax breaks, socialism, of course, and the one that we don't speak about and we'll have to speak about for the next decade to 2 decades, institutional terrorism. If you have all of your things in whatever, the Empire State Building, it's easy for the Antifas and whoever else to find your building and tear it the fuck up, right? So by the nature and probably part and parcel to why they've wanted to turn these cities into socialist strongholds would be the ineffective government is keeping out major employers. This is a major employer. You know, they complain in San Francisco because San Francisco did get destroyed by Google. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, it was helped by that government. City of New York is a failing city. I mean, San Francisco is too now, but it's a failing city. It has boroughs. You could actually segregate this stuff into one, if not more, of the boroughs and still have the capacity through these shorter lines of transmission to fire these things. And you increase the manpower working and upgrade everybody's life. But who wants to do that, right? So that's one of the other downfalls of the modern American city. We'll say the failed Pax Americana city. So that's what we have for this. If that's a field that you're interested in, you know, there's a lot of things to look at there. But freshwater in my state in Florida, we're already at war about that. And then it's going to be electric, right? Those of you who aren't fighting over clean water in your state, you ought to think about it. Those of you who are going to watch this and say, hey, I believe this about the electric, because just look it up, right? We cover it on South Florida Conservative on the website. It's on the Substack page. I believe that those are all annotated, or we have footnotes or endnotes to it. So yeah, this is going to be a problem. The days of sitting around and putting your air conditioning on 72 or 73 are going to be rapidly coming to a close because you are not willing to spend the money that that idiot from Facebook is to get things done. And also, here's the other kicker. If I am incorrect, tell me. I spoke with a guy who's very into this whole system, the whole chat GPTs and Groks and all that. And the idea, once again, is this is just like email. They are lowballing you when they say it's free. It's one thing. I think we pay $25 a month or something, or $50 a month to have AI, you know, because we're using it on research. And then there's a higher one. The higher one that's on there, if you have ChatGPT and look up the highest number, I think it is, which is like for a company, that is what the average person should be paying, is what the guy tells me. So they're eating that loss to get you. It's like selling kids heroin. First taste is free, right? They're going to have it so that they go to this and go to this and go to this and go to this, which makes the regular internet as a source for information almost irrelevant. The internet becomes nothing but shopping and pornography, and that's about it. Taste influencing, whereas the soul or the intelligence will be in these AI systems. And they're all going to be nuanced. So if you're a socialist, you'll go to whatever, Big Rainbow Brain, and get your shit there. And if you're a fanatic of whoever, that Shapiro guy, you'll go to I'm a jerk off, you know, AI or whatever it is. So they're going to also have that, which defeats the purpose of having an artificial intelligence service. Because first of all, it's not just skims the internet faster than you do, because it's going to give you biased information, which is not truthful information 9 times out of 10. Biased information today has very little to do with anything in the article being truthful. And if that's all you're getting, you are not getting any real educational value. If you are going to write something for your class, or you're trying to tell people something or things like that, it's going to make no sense. Okay? So that's the big problem with this whole thing. You have to look at it that way, which is AI will supplant the internet, meaning the value of the internet, not the interconnectability. the value of it as what it was originally done, which was linking educational institutions together so that you could read papers on Egyptian pottery from Brown University or whatever, to what it is today, which is garbage, then this will come in and this will do what it has to do for X amount of years until it is also rendered garbage. These things aren't being replaced because they are outdated. They are being replaced because they have become so corrupted that they can't manage to bring it back from the abyss anymore. Seriously, that's what it really comes down to. So that's what we got. If you're going to buy stock, buy it soon. And otherwise, talk to you all later on. Have a good weekend.